Hey YouTube, this is Southern Prepper1. Today I'm going to talk about commo. I'm not going to get into a lot of details on the radio, but I want to show you where we have come from. This has been years and years of researching and figuring out our commo plan for our prepping group. So a lot of time has gone into this. I just haven't picked a radio and said, we're going to use this radio. We've picked radios and changed and picked and changed and modified. A lot of time, a lot of effort has gone into this, but I think we have a good plan right now. I'm going to show you what we started with and what we've ended up with, so you know what we've gone, and I'll give you a little bit of pros and cons, but a lot of that will be common sense. CB radio, first thing we went with. Everyone had it, used it a lot, but it has some limitations. We still use the CB radio as a backup communication, but it is not our primary way of communicating. Next, we went with the family radios and GMRSs. Good little radio, very, very limited range, easy to use. I'm not going to get into the family radio you can use without a license. The GMRS you have to, but I am going to give you some links. There's a couple guys out there that are doing an excellent job and they're giving out a lot of information. Comms Prepper and a Renaissance Man. I will leave their links. These guys know commo. They are much more qualified to talk to you or answer questions than I am. Commo is my weakest link. We have a commo plan, but it's come with great pain and suffering to get here. Next, we went to a marine radio. Now granted, some of these radios I'm going to show you, you legally can't use them the way we are planning to use them. We're planning to use them in a ROL environment, a survival environment, a crisis environment. We're not worried about staying legal. Right now, we're staying totally legal. So don't think and don't comment, oh, you're doing illegal things. We're doing everything right now legal, but in times of an emergency, we will use whatever means we have to communicate for our personal survival group, our outer survival group, and our community at large. Marine radios you're not supposed to use unless you're on a boat. Somebody needs to tell all the bear hunters around here because they use them all the time. But we went with the Marine. Next, we tried out the MERS with the Dakota alerts. So there's just MERS frequencies on here. Good little radio, but there's better out there. I also like the base station. The reason is, yes, it's just MERS, but the radio we finally went with, we can use these. And it's sort of nice to have this on because you can plug it in, you don't have to waste precious batteries during regular good times. The final radio that we have gone with is, you can say Waxon, but it's really Oshan. But who cares about the pronunciation? This is a great little radio. This little radio does everything. There's some great reviews on it. I'm not going to do a review on this radio. I'm just going to tell you, with years and years of research and years of buying different radios, this is the radio that we're using. This is the radio we recommend to everyone. I don't sell this radio, so I'm not even going to give you a link where to go. Right now they're hard to find. You have to sort of hunt around. Some of the suppliers are out. This radio is, we have probably, for our group and for people around us, we have definitely purchased 125, 135 radios. A lot of radios have been purchased. They're awesome little radios. Let me explain a little bit about this radio, why we decided to use this radio. Granted, this radio will do things that are illegal. It will push on some of these other radios wattage. It's too powerful. You can cut it down and stay legal, but you have to be very careful. This is not a discussion if that's illegal or that's not illegal. This is a discussion just about what we finally went with. Alright, this radio, you can use the family radios, you can use the GMRSs with these. So these are not wasted. I can give these to neighbors, I can give them to other people in our group that doesn't have this radio. So this is not wasted. Marine radios. We have the marine frequencies on here, so this radio and all the ones we have are not wasted. These would be excellent radios to give to neighbors that are on board now, but are good people and will be on board. The MERS, or the Dakota alarm systems, these radios are MERS frequencies, and this can accept the MERS frequency, so this is not a waste. So this little radio does everything. It's also a 2-meter ham. So we have about 20 repeaters in here. Now you only can use the ham to transmit if you have a license. You can listen all you want for free. You can listen without a license. Nothing's stopping you from that. Nothing's stopping you from owning this. You just have to watch out the power you're broadcasting on different bands. And if you're going to do the ham, you have to have a license. So these, other than the CB, we're using. They're part of our combo plan. Let me talk a little bit about this radio. This radio sells anywhere from about $100 to $110. Comes with a little antenna. Now, I totally recommend a better antenna. This is a little magnet mount antenna. Very small, goes on your car, can go on a metal roof. This will definitely give you a lot more range. If you're going to buy the antenna and hook it to your radio, you basically unscrew your antenna, and you need an adapter because the ends are different. They won't fit. So they sell a little adapter that you screw in here and then put that in. That's like $5. So you need it. Don't forget that. The radio that we're using has a lot of features on it and it's coming very handy. What we have done is basically everyone we know, we have the radios programmed the exact same. I believe there's 125 channels that you can put in here. So let's say we're talking to somebody 5 miles away and they're not really part of our group, but they're a solid prepper that we know and trust. We can tell him, go to channel 47. We don't have to say, go to GMRS, go to, Marine 65. We don't have to do that. We can look on here and say, go to the channel that's programmed in here. So only people with the radio that's programmed all the same will know exactly where we can jump around. That way we don't tell anybody, hey, we're going to the family radio. We're going to the Marine. We're going to MERS. You have to have this radio. This radio has some features on it where it's A and B channel inside there. So let's say I want to make a conversation with someone, but I want to be very discreet about it. This radio isn't encrypted, so if I talk on it, anybody that's on that channel will listen and hear me. I can talk on A, listen on B. You can talk on B, listen on A. So if someone is just flipping through the channels and they have a radio, they're only going to get half the conversation. Either they're going to hear me talking or they're going to hear you talking. That's a little bit more security. Now granted, the government or any alphabet agency, they have the equipment to catch both sides very easily. But for the average person that doesn't have any fancy equipment, that has a family radio or Marine, they're only going to catch half the conversation. This radio also can be programmed. In our area, there's a lot of law enforcement there still where you can pick it up with a regular scanner. It's not encrypted or the way they do it, so we can't hear it. So I have every single emergency frequency in here of my local area. My police, my ambulance, my sheriff's department, everything is in here. So when I push the scan button, what I'm doing, because I've programmed this radio, I have not programmed this radio. A good friend in our group has programmed the radio. And I have to give him lots of credit. Mr. G, I'll just call him. He's done an excellent job. He wasn't a commo man at all, and he knew we had a deficiency in our group, and he took it on himself, and he figured these things out. So he is a very helpful guy. So what I can do on this radio, I can hit the scan button. Now my radio, because I live in this county, will scan my law enforcement frequencies for my area. It will also scan a few of the MERS channels. It will also scan one of the family radio channels. It will also scan one of the Marine radios. The reason we have it set up like this is if someone in the community only has a certain radio, we can tell them, hey, if you stay on this frequency and you need to call us, just push the button and talk, because mine will automatically scan. When he starts talking, it will stop and I can talk to him. And that's for the family radios, the Marines, or if he has a MERS radio. So we can keep in touch with everyone without having to switch. Say, is Joe, my neighbor, trying to call me on family radio? I don't have to worry about that because he knows exactly what channel that my scan is on. Now, if Joe wants to have his own family communication at his house, then he'll switch to a different channel and only use the common channel for when he has to talk to a lot of people. Now, I know I've gone a little fast. I will go into more depth. But the two gentlemen, Comms Prepper and Renaissance, man, excellent resources. I hope I've showed you something. I totally love this radio. I would recommend it to anyone that's a prepper. Thanks for watching.